Hello everyone, it's DA here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're doing amazing. Hope you're having fun. Well, first things first, in today's video, the results are in for the recent poll on the channel. The poll was, of course, which is the best frame for a stealth mission as far as rescue and spy is concerned. In the rescue aspect, Limbo won this segment with a landslide of 70%, Loki at 15%, other various stealth frames at 7.5%, and of course non-stealth frames are at 7.5%. When it comes to the spy section and the spy aspect of this, Loki is at 15%, while Limbo is at 35%, and Ivara won this section at 45%, while I also have other frames at 5%. Now, one of the amazing things and very important things that you can see within these two polls is that Limbo, if not at the first or the top post, was fighting and is of course at the leading role in both missions and both mission types. So in other words, to have a generalized statement, I will say Limbo so far, as based on the poll and what the people said, is the best when it comes to spy missions, when it comes to rescue missions, pretty much anything that deals with a stealth aspect of the game. Now, with that out of the way, let's go to the main topic and the main reason for this game, which is, of course, basic tips for survival in the game. Now, this is one of those things that could be proven useful and helpful to a lot of new players in the game, or maybe some of your average players in the game who are also looking for things and ways and tips, and of course trying to acquire more understanding on how they can run survival and of course last longer within this. So one of the things that I want to go on is as far as telling you what you need. One of the first things you need is you need an armor restore, a health restore, you need an energy restore, or some kind of specter. Now those restore crates are some of those things you need based on your playstyle and what you think you run out of the most. But I will say, even if you don't equip or use the rest of them, make sure you have energy restores, because this will be very proven to be useful. A lot of veteran players use this, a lot of average players use this, so you need an energy restore so you don't run out on the battlefield. Another thing you want to do and know as well is that you want to know your frame. You want to know what frame you're taking into the battlefield. You want to know how this frame functions, how they work, how their abilities are, what their armor rating is, what their weakness is, and of course what the strength of the frame is, because that will tell you how far you can go with the frame and how far you can push the frame to its limits. So don't be afraid also to try different kind of frames, to experiment and go even with some of the weaker frames. The strength of the frame or the armor rating does not determine how long you last. However, the armor rating will determine how much load you can take to the face. So in this situation, you just want to know and understand how far you can go with your frame. The next thing is understanding your enemy faction. When you understand your enemy faction, this can help you determine your frame, your weapon build, how you want to approach the mission, if you want to run and gun, or if you want to go slowly and just go steady. This can also help you determine what damage type you have to build for when it comes to your weapon, or in some cases what frame you are taking whenever it comes to this faction, because of course that will give you the edge. Now it all comes back all the way to personal preference. Play whatever frame you want to play, but when you understand your enemy, this also can help you understand how to make your build, maybe for toxin, corrosive, radiation, electric, gas, viral, cold, magnetic, blast, or even a hit damage. So this helps you understand. And I know in some situations you have the Sarin and Ignis build, and you have the Mag and Lanka build. So these are different in various combinations where they are all done based on you understanding your enemy faction and also understanding the limits and the powers of your frame itself, and know where they're strong at and know where they are weak. So another thing is also knowing the terrain, knowing what levels and what tile sets you're going on. This helps you to understand and know your maneuvers as far as where you can find and where you can locate different resources, where you can isolate yourself from the enemy. Because in this situation, when it comes to fighting a lot of these situations, you want to know if you're going to end up in a situation where you will be stuck in a doorway and you're trying to get out of there and enemies are blocking you, or if you're trying to get out of there, you're trying to find a out of situation moment, or you trying to get out of there and get to a life support, this will help you understand and know how and when to get there. Another thing also when it comes to that will be life support. Like I said earlier, when it comes to life support, I know you acquire and you get some from killing enemies, the drove life support boxes, but be sure to activate the life support capsule whenever your life support reach around 60%. This will guarantee you to get around 90 something percent back. So you want to be very careful about this, because once your life support goes down really too low, when you keep on activating them, or you may end up in a situation where enemies are overwhelming you and they're all in the way, and it stops and obstructs you from getting to your life support. So you want to be getting closer to the next support as you play on. So when you activate one, you want to kind of move on along towards and closer to the next life support you see on the map. When you do this, the enemy spawn points will change and they will appear much closer to you. So you don't have to worry about enemies are over there on that side. What is going to happen if I go onto this side? Because the enemies will still come onto you. You also want to find a choke point in the map. Now, one of the importance of finding a choke point is that when you find a choke point, you're able to isolate the enemies and put them in a one-way street where you don't have another enemy coming from the back. You only have one entrance, and the same entrance is also the same exit. So that way you can isolate that enemies away from you and you can target them in the doorway. Now, one of the good things and amazing things about this is that when you are doing and uses this strategy in a group setting, you have an individual usually which will be a Loki, which will go out and activate life supports and come back. And in this situation, you guys are still heavily armored. You have a lot of resources. You have energy restores, health restores, and if your teammates run out of ammo, you can replenish them as well. So this is one of the amazing things about finding a choke point that gives you much more peace and relieves a little bit much more tension and pressure from you whenever you're playing in the game. Now, the next thing also is if you are planning on playing solo, because I know a lot of people don't enjoy playing in a party, or maybe they don't have, you know, a group of friends, or maybe their friends are not online, their clanmates are not online, and they're trying to have fun, but they couldn't fathom the thought or the aspect of playing with somebody else. So one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that if you run out of energy or if you need health, you want to use your gear items. Use your energy restores, use your health restores. If you run out of armor, use your armor restores. Now, when you have this situation where the enemies overwhelm you, this is why you want to go ahead and map a lot of your energy, a lot of your gear items, a lot of your resource items. You want to map them to a particular key. You can map them to some of your function keys or some of your number keys above 6 all the way up to 0. So you can do that so that you can just pop out those things really quickly. And in some situations, if you don't have a CC ability or you're not using a CC frame, you can pop out a Spectre, which is one of the reasons why we all need one. So you can pop out a Spectre, which will help you take away some of the aggro, take away some of the attention. And in some situations when you have a shield drone, that also helps as well, because I know everybody doesn't have the shield charger mod or the health regen mod for the sentinels, and maybe, you know, their carriers, their Warframe, or whatever they're using. So this is one of the importance of the gear items, and of course mapping them out whenever you go on and decide to play solo. Now, if you go on and do this and you practice and you, of course, you know, go in these missions, you learn to play solo, you learn to play with different frames, learn their strengths and their weaknesses. You get better and better and better over time. You also want to be very careful when it comes to reviving an ally, mainly because if it means you might go down in the process of reviving that ally, let them die, because you never know. You may be the only key to everyone getting that reward that you guys accomplished during that mission. So you want to go ahead and just let them die. And in some situations, if it gets too stressful and it's becoming overwhelming, just walk or run your way all the way to up to extraction. That could be your only choice, and that could be your only hope as far as that goes. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about this video, what you think in your opinion is one of the best advice as far as lasting longer and of course getting into the best phase as far as survival is concerned, let others know, let a lot of the new players know, give them tips and advice on how they can last and survive longer in games. And of course, I would like to know what you think and what your own build is and how you play survival missions. Let me know down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you would love to see more on this channel, hit that subscribe button. As always, it is DA signing out. I'll see you in the next one.